Men that trap women. Woo! Yes, we have heard of women, and it's an old age thing where women not wanting to let go of a man or to get leverage on him so he doesn't walk away, go back to his wife, or keep him in her life permanently. We have been doing this for years. As women, we have been trapping men by getting pregnant. We have been being a bit sloppy, and we're hoping, and this is an age-old trick that women have been doing, because way back when, you know, that usually was the straight path to getting married. If a man made a woman pregnant, it was required of him to marry her. The family, the brothers, it was required of him to do that, and women obviously knew that. And because women are largely responsible for the kind of preventing pregnancy by and large, by either taking the pill or whatever, they would skip it and do a few things, and of course trap this guy. Or when a woman feels that she's not necessarily getting what she wants, the ring on time, she'll just pop out a baby. And really nowadays it's a massive gamble, because it is no longer required socially by many people to marry somebody because you got them pregnant. And many men might stick around, but they are not gonna get pressured into putting a ring on you. Some do, and it always has a way of backfiring, because no one should really in any way be manipulated or exploited into a relationship with anybody under any circumstances. There are many things we have to do in life. We have to work so we can eat. We have to wake up so that we can experience the day. We have to stay the color skin that we have, because that's just not going anywhere. And we have to die. There's some things that we have to do, but in a world of things that we have to do, there's some things that we shouldn't have to do if we don't want to do them. And one of those things is be with somebody romantically, emotionally, that we don't want to be with. Now, the moral compass of why we would do that is really down to the person. You know, I'm not here to moralize or to, tell the world has gone to the dogs. It has. I'm simply here to say that we live in such a world that no one is regulated except by their own conscience, and of course by the law. And it is not required by the law to marry somebody because you've got them pregnant or stay with them. So we have a lot of scenarios right now, but women will never stop doing it. They will always go for that last thing, get pregnant for the player and hope he hangs around. Okay. And so the story goes on, but obviously as time has worn on, now I received a comment from one of you, and you said, Chengi, please do a video on men who trap women, right? And I said that I would. Sometimes I will do videos that I know I'm not very searchable, but I know I want to do them for you. I want to be able to give you advice and to use my voice to, build awareness to 1, 2, 3 people, 1,000 people, I don't care how many people, so they know that these things happen. And so girls, I want you to know, before I even go any further, if this sounds like the kind of video that's really exciting to you and you're really looking forward to, hit that thumb up or down, whichever one suits you, but do hit that like button so that we can spread the word, share this video with whoever you think would need it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are informed every single time I upload a video. And so I am Chengi, and you, my darling, precious one, are my world. Welcome to today's videos, men who trap women. Whew. Okay, girls, so this happens more frequently now than ever before. I like to think that nothing is new under the sun. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun, and I tend to believe the Bible when it speaks. I truly believe that there have been men who've been trapping women for years, but not so much in the same quantities, not so much in the same way, but everything shifts and becomes bigger as dynamics in life begin to move. When a man falls in love with a woman who doesn't need him or want him, or maybe a woman who's just messing around with him, and he's given over his heart to her, and he has no way of securing her because she doesn't want his money. She doesn't even want him to marry her, but whatever it is, she just wants to have a good time while she's enjoying what is, and he's afraid, or maybe he has something to hide. There's something that he doesn't want her to know, but he doesn't want to lose her when she finds out. And so a lot of men are actually breaking condoms and getting women pregnant on purpose. This is something, ladies, I am not saying because I read in a book. This is something that has come into my practice more times than I would like to mention. This is something that has come to my ears from people that I know personally. I know of a story of a girl who I actually spoke to the guy, and he's the one that confessed. And basically, he moved the relationship on at 100 miles an hour. She got swept away. He was doing amazing things and paying for amazing things and spoiling her and her children. I mean, he was just like amazing. And everybody was like, be really careful. He's got a really bad reputation. He drinks a lot and there's some issues. And you know, she just thought everybody was being mean. She was so hopelessly in love with this man. And after about a few 2 months or so, she calls me and says, Chengi, I'm pregnant. And something didn't quite read right to me. So, but I didn't say anything. Of course, I was very happy for her because she seemed really happy. It seemed to be this eternal bliss in her life. This was not a client of mine. This is somebody that I know. Anyway, it turns out they were having a few issues, and because I knew the couple and he had been introduced to him, he found my number and he called me, and he wanted to talk about the issues that were going on in his life and paint himself as a victim and all of these things. I listened out of respect. And then he said, you know, I did that. When she got pregnant, I was really happy because I actually did that. Which basically he was confessing that to trap her, he had actually he'd actually made the mistake. He had been, you know, pulling off the condom. Sometimes they pull it off just before they get in there. Sometimes they just make an incision or just kind of a bit of a hole. Obviously, you're not going to feel it in the heat of the moment. You're not going to feel that it's broken, or sometimes then you won't even feel that it's been removed. And this happens quite a bit, more than you would like to think, right? And anyway, it turns out that he moved in and he beat the living daylights out of her. He beat her so badly, almost every night. And this is something that he had obviously been doing, and he knew that if she found out that that's what he does, that he gets drunk and comes home and beats his girlfriend, she wouldn't have stayed. But now she is pregnant with his baby and they're raising this baby together, so she was trapped. So it can actually really be that bad. And I've had other instances of women, you know, usually, sadly, it's usually around abusive men. It's usually men who have an abusiveness, an abusive streak. A woman who was ready to leave her husband, and you know, she was really ready to, you know, it was quite a toxic and traumatic relationship. She finally managed to get the courage to leave, and you know, while she was in that process, he had sex with her and deliberately timed it. She didn't want him to know she was leaving, so she was behaving as normal, and he kind of sensed it that she was about ready to leave, so he timed her cycle at that particular time. And men who do this are very aware of your cycle. They actually keep quite a good record of it, so that they know when to do this, that it actually gets the job done. And you know, she ended up leaving him anyway, but she now had an infant. So sometimes, again, it backfires for these men, but we do need to be careful, ladies. We need to be careful. You cannot leave your reproduction process to the man. If you are going to be sexually active with a man that you haven't vetted, verified, quantified, eyed in every sense of the word and really gotten to know and be in a committed relationship willingly with this person long term, if you're going to do that, then you're gonna have to be extra careful with contraception. You're going to have to take that extra precaution. You're gonna have to be on the pill, and you're gonna have to get diaphragm. I don't care what you do, but you cannot leave your reproduction to some guy whose history you don't know. So this is really, really important that we realize that the game has changed. It's not just about women trying to trap a guy, but you could easily be in a situation with a guy who is trying to trap you, especially if you're a woman that has something to offer. You have a home, you know, which is the case for both these women that I've mentioned. One was a lawyer. You know, she was a really well-paid lawyer with a great big home and everything, and he was not quite legal. And the other one was a guy who was just homeless, and she had her home and was solid. So if you, as women, become more emancipated and we're able to get more and be more and achieve more, the tables will turn. Men will ply, you know, romance in order to get the attention of a woman who has more than her and to secure himself. And so both these men moved in, and the idea of losing to someone who's going to be losing their livelihood. So what do? They get you pregnant. So chances are men are not running around trying to get every woman in the world pregnant. Chances are they probably don't want to, but there are those men, and they are growing in number, who will trap a woman in order to keep her. So a word to the wise is sufficient. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, take care of you. Love you lots.